Chapter 3. A man called Ove reverses with a trailer. Ove whips open the green floral curtains, which for many years Ove's wife has been nagging him to change. He sees a short, black-haired, and obviously foreign woman aged about 30. She stands there gesticulating furiously at a similarly aged, oversized, blond, lanky man squeezed into the driver's seat of a ludicrously small Japanese car with a trailer, now scraping against the exterior wall of Obe's house. The lanky one, by means of subtle gestures and signs, seems to want to convey to the woman that this is not quite as easy as it looks. The woman, with gestures that are comparatively unsubtle, seems to want to convey that it might have something to do with the moronic nature of the lanky one in question. Well, I'll be bloody. Ove thunders through the window as the wheel of the trailer rolls into his flower bed. A few seconds later, his front door seems to fly open of its own accord, as if afraid that Ove might otherwise walk straight through it. What the hell are you doing? Ove roars at the woman. Yes, that's what I'm asking myself, she rolls back. Ove is momentarily thrown off balance. He glares at her. She glares back. You can't drive a car here. Can't you read? The little foreign woman steps toward him, and only then does Ove notice that she's either very pregnant or suffering from what Ove would categorize as selective obesity. I'm not driving the car, am I? Ove stares silently at her for a few seconds. Then he turns to her husband, who's just managed to extract himself from the Japanese car and is approaching them with both hands thrown expressively into the air and an apologetic smile plastered across his face. He's wearing a knitted cardigan and his posture seems to indicate a very obvious calcium deficiency. He must be close to 2 meters tall. Ove feels an instinctive skepticism towards all people taller than 185. The blood can't quite make it all the way up to the brain. And who might you be? Ove inquires. I'm the driver, says the lanky one expensively. Oh, really? Doesn't look like it, raises the pregnant woman, who is probably a half-meter shorter than him. She tries to slap his arm with both hands. And who's this? Ove asks, staring at her. This is my wife, he smiles. Don't be so sure it'll stay that way, she snaps, her pregnant belly bouncing up and down. It's not as easy as it looks, the lanky one tries to say, but he's immediately cut short. I said right, but you carried on reversing to the left. You don't listen. You never listen. After that, she immerses herself in half a minute's worth of haranguing in what Ove can only assume to be a display of a complex vocabulary of Arabic cursing. The husband just nods back at her with an indescribably harmonious smile. The very sort of smile that makes decent folk want to slap Buddhist monks in the face. Ove thinks to himself, Oh, come on, I'm sorry, he says cheerfully, hauling out a tin of chewing tobacco from his pocket and packing in a ball the size of a wallet. It was only a little accident. We'll sort it out. Ove looks at the lanky one as if the lanky one has just squatted over the bonnet of Ove's car and left the turd on it. Sort it out? You're in my flower bed. The lanky one looks ponderously at the trailer wheels. That's hardly a flower bed, is it? He smiles. He daunted and adjusts his tobacco with the tip of his tongue. Nah, come on, that's just soil, he persists, as if Ove is having a joke with him. Ove's forehead compresses itself into one large, threatening wrinkle. It is a flower bed. The lanky one scratches his head as if he's got some tobacco caught in his tangled fringe. But you're not growing anything in it. Never you bloody mind what I do with my own flower bed. The lanky one nods quickly, clearly keen to avoid the further provocation of this unknown man. He turns to his wife as if he's expecting her to come to his aid. She doesn't look at all likely to do so. The lanky one looks at Ove again. Pregnant, you know, hormones and all that, he tries with a grin. The pregnant one does not grin, nor does Ove. She crosses her arms. Ove tucks his hands into his belt. The lanky one clearly doesn't know what to do with his massive hands, so he swings them back and forth across his body, slightly shamefully, as if they're made of cloth fluttering in the breeze. I'll move it and have another go, he finally says and smiles disarmingly at Ove again. Ove does not reciprocate. Motor vehicles are not allowed in the area. There's a sign. The lanky one steps back and nods eagerly, jogs back and once again contorts his body into the underdimensioned Japanese car. Christ! Ove and the pregnant woman mutter wearily in unison, which actually makes Ove dislike her slightly less. The lanky one pulls forward a few meters. Ove can see very clearly that he does not straighten up the trailer properly. Then he starts reversing again, right into Ove's letterbox, buckling the green sheet metal. Ove storms forward and throws the car door open. The lanky one starts flapping his arms again. My fault, sorry about that. Didn't see the letterbox in the back mirror, you know. It's different, it's trailer thing, difficult this trailer thing. Just can't figure out which way to turn the wheel. Ove thumbs his fist on the roof of the car so hard that the lanky one jumps and bangs his head on the door frame. Out of the car! What?